Hi, I'm bigcal, and welcome to my world. So there has now been 100 recent video games pickups videos. Well, 101 because the one for Dragon Quest Tober, and I didn't have time to do this video in between episodes episodes 100 and 101. Whatever. So yeah, when I got to 50 recent video games pickups many years ago, I did a top 10 looking back at my favourite pickups from episodes 1 to 50. So now I've reached episode 100, I'm going to be doing the same for episodes 51 to 100. So let's get started with the countdown. Number 10. Master System Adapter plus Games, episode 62. Yep, so way back, episode 62, I picked up this game adapter, the Mega Master. So it isn't an official one, obviously. Those are ever so slightly more expensive, a lot more expensive. Yeah, and the only advantage to them is that they can play the card-based Master System games, but I think I'm doing just fine without those. Yeah, so this obviously allows you to play Master System games with the Sega Mega Drive, and it opens up an entire new 8-bit system that I didn't grow up with, despite living here in the UK, and apparently the Master System was very popular here in Europe. I grew up with the NES, so yeah, I didn't play the Master System. But this allows me to hook up my Sega Mega Drive and play Master System games. So obviously I picked up with it the Ninja, Land of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse, Action Fighter, and a 3-in-1 combo cartridge for the Light Phaser, which I can't play because I don't have a Light Phaser or a CRT TV to use it on. But yeah, the Master System, I guess because it wasn't very popular at all in North America, it tends to get very forgotten on the internet, as you know, a lot of especially retro gaming scenes are kind of built from American people, North American people with Canada as well, obviously, and things. Yeah, so the Master System does get forgotten about, and it's always about the NES when it comes to 8-bit. But the Master System had a ton of really good games as well. Some of them were ports of Mega Drive games, and can be pretty impressive to see the 8-bit versions of them. And others, of course, get ports from what was on the NES and completely new games. So this is in my top 10 because it opens up an entire new console and allows me to buy more games and play them and enjoy them without the hassle of buying the actual console, because it's very old, and hooking it up to modern TVs and things is even more difficult than the NES. I don't know if there's even composite for the Master System, maybe for one of the newer versions of the Master System, but then the quality drops with everything, and yeah, it plays just fine on the Master System, the Mega Drive, with one of these. So yeah, that's why Master System Game Adapter and Games comes in at number 10. Number 9. Retro USB AVS, episode 100. Yep, something from episode 100 absolutely had to make this list because I tried to make episode 100 very special with the pickups, a lot of expensive ones, a lot of things that I've been wanting for some time, and this is one of the things that I wanted for some time. See, going back just to the previous number, we'll talk about 8-bit systems. I grew up with the NES, of course, rather than the Master System. I bloody love the NES. But yeah, playing it in good quality these days, unless you're going for some sort of emulation, yeah, you're not really going to get much good out of the original system without modding it with RGB output or the very rare HDMI outputs for it. And especially here in the UK, it's expensive and pretty rare because people just don't seem to have the kits in stock anymore to mod it. And, you know, if you can't solder it in yourself, you have to pay to get that done. And it's just a mess. But the AVS Retro USB is, of course, an FPGA Nintendo Entertainment System. 720p with HDMI cable, so very, very nice, very high quality output. No messing about. Of course, it is emulation, but it is hardware emulation. It can play, obviously, PAL games, NTSC, and Famicom games as well without the need of an adapter, which I do own. So yeah, this is an absolutely fantastic pickup and lets me play some of my favourite 8-bit games in very, very nice, high quality. And I get to keep my NES original. Don't have to mod it in any way, so it's nice to just keep that the way it is the same. And yeah, get to play 8-bit games with the AVS Retro USB system now. So yeah, that's why this made number 9. I get to play some of my best, favouriteest 8-bit games in nice, crisp, high quality. Number 8. Streets of Rage 2 for the Sega Mega Drive, Episode 75. Again, going back to just the last two that we've been talking about, I grew up with the NES, of course, and then the Super Nintendo. I did not grow up with Sega consoles. I had a Game Gear growing up, but yeah, didn't grow up with the Master System or the Mega Drive. So when I got into retro gaming many years later in the mid to late 2000s, obviously I was seeking out things that I hadn't played before, and Streets of Rage 2 was absolutely one of them. Sort of. I did actually play this at a friend's house a few times, and yeah, it was a very fun game. So when I got back into retro gaming and things, and I sought out things that I didn't own as a kid, like the Mega Drive, this was one of the games that I absolutely wanted to play. Now, it was available on the Wii U Virtual Console around this time, so I had it on there, and then it's also on multiple Mega Drive collections and everything, so I was having a fun time playing it on all those different versions. However, I was yet to own a physical copy. So at the 2023, I believe it was in February, video game market in Doncaster, they do multiple of these big retro gaming markets every year now in multiple locations throughout the UK. This was actually the last one that I went to because I was extremely disappointed with the selection. I came away with 4 games from this massive video game market. 4 games. So yeah, not exactly the best, most fun experience, which is why I stopped going, and it's been nearly 3 years since I went. However, I did love the fact that I was able to finally pick up Streets of Rage 2 for the Mega Drive. It is a phenomenal beat-em-up, and yeah, in my opinion, definitely puts the majority of beat-em-ups on the Super Nintendo to shame. The only one that might come close is Turtles in Time. But I think I might even give Streets of Rage 2 the upper hand there as well. An absolutely phenomenal game, and I'm so happy to have finally picked it up a couple of years ago. And yeah, Streets of Rage 2, what more needs to be said? It is fantastic and very worthy of being on this list. Number 7. Super Mario Bros. Wonder for the Nintendo Switch, Episode 87. After years of the 2D Mario games just being so uncreative and boring, along comes Super Mario Bros. Wonder and gives it a huge shot in the arm of style, fun, creativeness, and just awesomeness. This is a wonderful game to sit through and play for the first time. Yeah, its graphics, the visuals are just so much nicer than the lame new Super Mario Bros. Style that we've gotten used to for, 15, 18 years at this point. Yeah, it was just getting dull. The games themselves, fundamentally, were perfectly fine. I don't hate the new Super Mario Bros. Games, I just don't have any love for any of them outside of the original DS one, which at the time was fantastic. We hadn't had a new 2D Mario game in years. Along comes that. It's great, but then they just kept doing the exact same thing over and over again. And then this comes out and it's just like, yeah, this is what a 2D Mario game can be and should be, and hopefully in the future will continue along this path with these crazy new pickups and how they change the level and the audio design for everything. Yeah, now, does it hold up for a second playthrough? I couldn't tell you. I've only played through it once so far, but I had an absolute blast doing it, and it was fantastic. And in my opinion, the best 2D Mario game since 1992, with Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins on the Game Boy. Yeah, absolutely fantastic game. Very happy to have picked it up. Number 6. Kirby and the Forgotten Land for the Nintendo Switch, Episode 66. For its entire life, the Kirby series was predominantly 2D. We had some 2.5D stuff here and there, and there were even some 3D games, absolutely, but they were just based on these very small mini-games that they released as full games, even though they really weren't. They were just little mini-games that for some reason they decided to sell separately. Yeah, so predominantly the mainline Kirby games were 2D, and then along comes Kirby and the Forgotten Land and finally brings Kirby into the realm of 3D. and it does it absolutely amazingly. It is one of the best examples of a 2D game transitioning to 3D. And let's be honest, it bloody well should have, after taking so long. This isn't like when, the mid-90s, when they were finally figuring things out. It's like, oh, we can do 3D now. And they were very hit and miss because no one knew what to do. We've had nearly 30 years of knowing what to do with 3D, so yeah, it had to be good, and it was. It is visually stunning. Even on the original Nintendo Switch, it looks phenomenal. It sounds absolutely wonderful, and it plays just as good as you would expect. You've got the traditional Kirby suck-up mechanic, and now you have the Big Mouth mode, which adds all these new different power-ups and how the levels are designed around them, and it just leads to a ton of creativity. And I absolutely cannot wait to eventually get a Switch 2, because one of the games I really want to play on that system is the expansion for this game on it. Not any of the new games, very few of those that I'm not interested in, but yeah, Kirby and the Forgotten Land plus Star Allies, is it called or something? I can't remember. No, Star Allies, I think, was one of the 2D Kirby games on the Switch. Whatever it's called, I would like to play, because the base game, just on the original Nintendo Switch, is incredible, and I very, very much love this game. I am hoping to review it at some point. I started a script a number of years ago when it first came out. I've got all the game footage recorded. I just have to get back in and play through it again in bits here and there so I can refresh my brain and write a review for it. So hopefully 2026 we might get a review for Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Number 5. Clive and Wrench for the Nintendo Switch. Episode 78. Despite the fact that this game is only 2.5 years old, almost 3 years old or something like that, it is all but forgotten by the majority of gamers, and that really does make me sad, because for me, this is one of the best indie 3D platformers we have ever had. It is fantastic. Now, obviously, it gets overshadowed by, your likes of Ukulele, which not really indie, I guess. It's very difficult to describe what is that game, but yeah, that came out. It got a ton of hype because it was made from the Banjo-Kazooie people, and it was a big disappointment. They've now got a newer version out that people seem to really like, but yeah, despite the fact it wasn't that good, people still talked about it a ton. And then we've had all these others, and Clive and Wrench just kind of got swept under the rug, and people just forgot about it instantly. And I very much hate that, because this is wonderful. So it was made predominantly by one person. One person! Yeah, and it takes main inspiration from the PS1 classic Muppet Monster Adventure, and then obviously from other 3D platformers from that time, N64 and PS1 included. So you travel through time with Clive and Wrench, do all of your collectible stuff and your little mini missions and things like you would in a normal 3D platformer. Tons of really cool levels, some creative designs in there. Does it have some issues? Yeah, it was made by one person. What do you expect? It's not going to be 100% perfect, but the fact that this has just been all but forgotten about is baffling to me, because it is amazing, and I very much love it. I have a review written. It was written the week it released, but unfortunately mental health issues meant that I never got it out, so I'm definitely planning in 2026 to get my review of this game out, finally, and hopefully show the whole 30 people that might watch the video that this is a wonderful 3D platformer. Number 4. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door for the Nintendo GameCube. Episode 81. Right before they announced a port to the Nintendo Switch, I'm talking maybe a month, I splashed out £90 for this bugger. £90, which is a lot of bloody money. I've only paid a little bit more for games that were either collector's editions or for 2 Dragon Quest games. So yeah, £90 is still very high up there as one of the most expensive games I've ever bought. Despite the fact there is a Switch version out now, a lot of people still think this is the definitive version because it runs at 60 FPS rather than 30 on the Nintendo Switch. It looks good, sounds good, and it plays just as well as you would expect. So, Paper Mario games, this is probably the last genuinely good all-round Paper Mario game. As after this one, gameplay would be a bit iffy, or the stories would be a bit iffy, and neither of them, as if there's just two, none of them have really come together with everything like Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door did. So obviously you have a great story. Princess Peach has been kidnapped, but not by Bowser. Yeah, so that's nice, and there's a whole different story going on there. You've got all these amazing side characters where you go on quests to do for them and things like that. All the great party members that join up with you, so it's not just Mario. The writing is wonderful, and the battling is, of course, the classic turn-based action combat style that you would come to love and know from the Super Mario RPG and Paper Mario series. So obviously you have the timed button presser to do more damage and block attacks and things like that. Yeah, so was it worth the £90 I paid for it? Probably not, but do I regret paying that amount for it? Honestly, no, because it is a fantastic game. I am happy to have had it in my collection. Yeah, you can get it for half that price now on the GameCube and the Nintendo Switch. But yeah, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door was a game I wanted for years, wanted to play it for years, finally got it, played through it, enjoyed it a whole bunch. So yeah, it had to be on this list because it is a fantastic game. Number 3. The Legend of Heroes: Trails from Zero for the PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. Episode 72. Yep, so this is my collector's edition for the Nintendo Switch. I also got the regular version for the PlayStation 4 as well. But yeah, the Legend of Heroes Trails series is probably my second ever favourite game series now, right behind Dragon Quest. Not just for RPGs or anything, but just in general. It is amazing. Now, obviously, I didn't get into the series until around 2015, so yeah, I didn't have as long a wait to finally play this, but yeah, still a pretty long wait, because it took 12 years after the original Japanese release for this to finally come out officially in English. 12 years. And it only did because of a fantastically wonderful team of fans who run the Geofront website, and they do fan translations for Trails games. And obviously this was the first big one that they attempted, took a number of years to get done, and it finally released. 2 years, I believe, before the official release came out. So yeah, I bought a legal copy digitally online of the Japanese version, used their fan translation to play through the game, and absolutely loved it as we finally got to play through the Crossbell arc for the first time. Then a couple of years later, it was announced that their translation was going to be used for the official release of it, and so many more people finally had access to this game in English, and of course I had to buy it to help support the game series in general, to help support the people at Geofront who made the amazing translation to begin with. It is a fantastic game in the series, and I am so happy that it finally got released officially to the world so we can play it and enjoy it and love it. Number 2. Power Station Issue Number 8, Episode 57. So this was a magazine during the original PlayStation era, and what it was basically each issue would have a number of guides for specific games, and then at the back a whole bunch of cheats for as many games on the PS1 as they could fit into it. Now, Twisted Metal 2 for the PlayStation 1 is my all-time favourite PS1 game. It would easily make my top 5 favourite games of all time. It was the first PlayStation 1 game I ever played back in Christmas 1997. When I got my PS1, it came with the system, and I absolutely loved it. So when this magazine was out, I didn't buy it. I didn't know about it. About a year later, I'd bought another Power Station, I believe, and inside was a little thing that you could fill in to backorder issues. And this wasn't something that we typically did, because you have to send a check off or whatever, a postal order, or even cash inside. But I finally persuaded my parents to let me do it, ordered it, arrived. It was fantastic being able to flick through and see all the hidden secrets and things about Twisted Metal 2 that at that time I didn't know. And then, unfortunately, I was forced to lend it to my cousin, who I knew wouldn't take care of it. And to the surprise of absolutely nobody, he ended up destroying it. So yeah, for many years I was without this issue. So obviously when I got back into retro gaming, I started to look for it every now and then. And it would just never come up, and then I would forget about it again, and that was that. Then during the first COVID, when we actually had lockdown and were stuck inside, I decided to really attempt to look for it. And I searched everywhere for it. I could not find this specific issue anywhere. I set up a search on eBay so it would email me anytime someone would upload it for sale, and it only came up twice in about a year period. The first time was a bundle with 3 other magazines, and it ended up going for far too much money. So yeah, I thought, damn, I'm probably never going to get this. Then it finally showed up on its own as a listing, buy it now. I was able to grab it for a really, really good price, and now I have my holy grail PlayStation magazine. So Power Station, issue 8, Twisted Metal 2 is the main guide, of course, for this. And yeah, it's just so great to finally own again in great quality as well. And because I'm an adult, nobody can tell me that I have to lend it to anyone. Number 1. Dragon Warrior 3 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Episode 71. Dragon Warrior 3. At the point of buying this, the single most expensive game I have ever bought. It has since been outdone, ever so slightly, by Dragon Quest IV for the NES. But yeah, Dragon Quest III is a better game. Not that by too much, actually. I really like Dragon Quest IV this time around. I didn't used to like it, love it now. But yeah, Dragon Warrior 3 is a phenomenal JRPG game, and one of the best in the entire Dragon Quest series. Now, this is all reproduction, the box, the manual and everything, but the cartridge is original, so that's what I paid for. I got this done separately, just because it looks nice and cool to have the complete thing in my collection without spending an absolute fortune. Yeah, so Dragon Warrior 3, if you want to know more about why I love this game, check out my review of it I did for Dragon Quest Tober 3 2 years ago. And yeah, what more do I have to say about this amazing game? It's part of the most legendary JRPG series of all time, Dragon Quest. It was called Dragon Warrior in North America for a number of years due to weird rights issues, whatever. Yeah, so Dragon Warrior 3 was the standard bearer of JRPGs at the time. And it is still absolutely phenomenal to go back and play this. Now, are there better versions of it nowadays with quality of life issue changes and things like that and improvements and whatever? Yeah, but the original NES version is still very, very good and very, very playable, and I would highly recommend it to real fans of Dragon Quest. If you just want to go in and experience the game in the easiest way possible, go with one of the other versions, but if you're a hardcore Dragon Quest fan, you definitely have to play the NES version as well. And that's why Dragon Warrior 3 for the NES is my number 1 favourite pickup from episodes 51 to 100. So, I'm bigcal. Thanks for watching. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of my top 10 list. Let me know what some of your favourite pickups are that I bought in the last 50 videos. And I'll see you again for another one of these videos when I reach 150 episodes of recent video games pickups videos.